Woo-saw, girl. Breathe. Just breathe. Because gas just went up again. The electric bill showed up looking disrespectful. You grabbed a few things for dinner and somehow spent $200. And now you're standing in the kitchen trying to figure out how food became a luxury. You keep telling yourself you're just going to run in the store for a few things. A few things. Bread, milk, chicken, juice, a couple snacks for the kids. That's it. Nothing fancy. No steak, no seafood, no cart full of name brands. And somehow the total keeps climbing higher than your expectations. Every single time. At some point, you stop being surprised. You just stand there staring at the screen, waiting for it to make sense. But it never does. Maybe it's just you. At least that's what you tell yourself. Until your husband walks in, looks at the same electric bill, looks at the grocery app, looks at the gas receipt sitting on the counter, and says, "Ain't no way." And suddenly you realize you've both been thinking the same thing. When did surviving start costing this much? Because that's what it feels like now. Not living, not thriving, not building wealth. Surviving. And if you've caught yourself feeling exhausted lately, not sleepy, exhausted, there may be a reason for that. You see, most people think stress comes from major disasters, losing a job, getting sick, going through a divorce. Those things absolutely create stress. But psychologists have known for a long time that chronic stress often comes from something else. Accumulation, little things, repeated things, things that happen over and over and over again. A gas tank, a grocery trip, an insurance bill, a utility payment, a school fee, a copay, a subscription renewal, a car repair. None of those things by themselves seem life-changing, but together they start feeling heavy, like carrying groceries. One bag isn't a problem. 2 bags aren't a problem. 3 bags aren't a problem. But eventually your hands start hurting, your arms start burning, and you realize you're carrying more than you thought. That's how financial stress works. Not all at once, little by little, month by month, bill by bill. Until one day you find yourself sitting in your driveway after work. Not because you're tired of driving, because you're tired of thinking, tired of calculating, tired of figuring things out, tired of making the numbers stretch. And maybe nobody sees that part. Maybe people see you smiling, showing up, handling business, taking care of your family. But they don't see the conversations happening inside your head. Can we afford this? Should we wait until next payday? Maybe I'll put it on the credit card. Maybe we don't need it right now. Maybe it'll be okay. Maybe. That's exhausting. And what makes it harder is that many people feel like they're not supposed to talk about it, especially women, especially mothers, especially the ones everybody thinks have it together, the ones who keep showing up, keep working, keep taking care of everybody else, the ones who somehow become emotional support systems for entire households. Because let's be honest, a lot of women aren't just carrying groceries. They're carrying worry. They're carrying responsibility. They're carrying the emotional weight of making sure everybody else is okay. And that's a burden most people never see. And maybe that's the part nobody talks about. Because from the outside, a lot of people look fine. The lights are still on. The rent is getting paid. The mortgage is getting paid. The kids are still showing up to school. Pictures are still being posted. People are still smiling. But behind the scenes, a whole lot of households are running calculations every single day. Mental calculations, the kind nobody sees. Can we afford this? Can it wait until next payday? Do we really need it right now? Maybe next month? Maybe later? Maybe when things settle down? But when exactly is later supposed to arrive? Because for a lot of people, it feels like every time they get ahead, something reaches into their pocket and pulls them right back. The car needs brakes. The water heater goes out. Insurance goes up. A medical bill shows up. a child outgrows shoes, and suddenly the little cushion you worked so hard to build disappears. Just like that. What's interesting is that many families are working harder than they ever have before. Maybe your husband is working full-time. Maybe you're working full-time. Maybe somebody is picking up overtime. Maybe somebody is driving Uber after work. Maybe somebody is delivering groceries on weekends. Maybe somebody is doing Walmart Spark, DoorDash, Instacart, Shipped. Maybe somebody is selling things online. Maybe somebody has a side hustle that starts after the regular job ends, and somehow it still feels tight. That's the part that messes with people, because most of us grew up believing something. Work hard, be responsible, do the right thing, and eventually you'll feel comfortable. Not rich, not wealthy, just comfortable. And yet there are people doing everything right who still find themselves staring at a grocery total, wondering what happened. There are married couples with 2 incomes asking questions they never thought they'd be asking. Single moms carrying entire households on their backs. Grandparents helping grown children. Young adults moving back home. Families delaying vacations. Delaying repairs. Delaying dreams. Not because they're irresponsible, because the math feels different now. And when the math changes, people change. You may have noticed yourself getting irritated more easily, feeling overwhelmed by things that never used to bother you, feeling mentally tired before the day even starts. That's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain has been working overtime. Think about how many financial decisions people make in a single week. Should I fill the tank now or wait? Should I stop at the grocery store today or after payday? Should I buy the larger package because it's cheaper per ounce? Should I use the credit card? Should I pull from savings? Should I cancel that subscription? Should I skip eating out this week? Decision after decision after decision after decision. Most people think stress comes from dramatic events, but sometimes stress comes from having to make 100 tiny decisions every day. And lately, a lot of those decisions involve money. Money has a strange way of showing up everywhere. At the gas station, at the grocery store, at the doctor's office, at school, at home. Even when you're trying to relax, you're watching television, and suddenly you're wondering how much the electric bill is going to be this month. You're trying to enjoy dinner, and your mind starts calculating upcoming expenses. You're laying in bed, and somehow your brain decides midnight is the perfect time to review your finances. And then people wonder why they're tired. Girl, because your brain never clocked out. That's why. Your body may be sitting on the couch, but your mind is still working, still calculating, still preparing, still trying to make sure everybody is okay. And that's a heavy responsibility to carry day after day, especially when the people carrying it are often the same people making sure everybody else feels safe. The same people checking homework, making dinner, planning birthdays, scheduling appointments, showing up for work, showing up for family, showing up for everybody, while quietly wondering who's showing up for them.